Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. The Earth ship is here for plunder. Yord has finally arrived in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and how good is it actually? Well, let's first and foremost talk about this card in particular and what it does. First of all, we got to talk about the monster effect, that being, if your opponent special summons a monster, you can add a Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand. Then if it was equipped with a Plunder Patrol card, you can special summon a plunder from your deck. So it adds and it specials. That doesn't matter. That's not the effect that actually counts. What it does do is you can target a Plunder Patrol card in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and if you do, place this card in your pendulum zone. Then, in the pendulum zone, the pendulum effect is you can declare an attribute, return this card to the extra deck, and then special summon a Plunder Patrol token with that attribute to both players' fields in defense. This card is very good. Why? It turns off Evenly Matched. It turns off Imperm. It turns off Kashtiras, which we don't have yet. But it also gives you the ability to tag out into, whatever attribute you may need. A light, a dark, a fire, etc. On top of that, Yord also gives us access to, if our opponent activates something like, Max C, we now have the ability to still tag out into a ship and get something off of that with something like a Blackbeard or a Redbeard or a Whitebeard, etc. Right? So, this card is absolutely insane for Plunder. Let's talk about the rest of the cards in this list, and most of the deck has pretty much stayed the same. You can still play the Adventure Engine, or you could play without the Adventure Engine. You could play Kaijus, you could play no Kaijus, etc. This is what I ended up going for. I really highly value things like Evenly Matched and other such tech cards or non-engine pieces. So I'm not as big of a fan of the Adventure Engine. I think it's a little bit too bricky with only access to 3 of the token. It just doesn't really work out. So there you go. So let's quickly do the card by card. We are maxing out on all of the plunders. 3 Whitebeard, 3 Redbeard, 3 Bluebeard, 3 Golden Hair, and 3 Black Eyes. Whitebeard is able to is able to tag out, similar to Redbeard, into any of your ships if your opponent controls or has in their graveyard a monster with a similar attribute. Next up, we have, Whitebeard is also able to, if it's sent from field or hand to the graveyard, able to special summon one of your Plunder Patrols, locking you into plunders. Redbeard, if it's sent to the graveyard, it can attach itself or equip itself to a monster. And then, it becomes an equip card. Bluebeard can special summon itself from hand, and if it's sent from hand or field to the graveyard, you can discard a card in order to draw a card. Honestly, this special summon effect is mostly what it's used for. Golden Hair has the best effect out of all of them by being able to special summon itself from hand by sending another Plunder Patrol monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, or you can summon it from the graveyard by discarding a card to special summon it, locking you into plunders. Notably, the first effect doesn't lock you into plunders, so do keep that in mind. But normally you would normal summon this, go into Almirage, and then any other discard is able to get you into a Blackbeard, which is absolutely fantastic because it just requires any 2 monsters. And then Black Eyes is able to target a plunder in the graveyard, add it back to hand, and special summon this card, and then it also has a second effect that doesn't really do anything or ever really come up. Then we, of course, have Shipyard, which is a field spell that is absolutely fantastic. You discard a card in order to add a Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand, and if it's in the graveyard, you are able to target a Plunder Patrol card that is in your spell trap, set this card and return the card to the hand, so you can bounce back one of your equipped plunders, which is very nice, and then it also recurs itself. On top of that, you also are able to boost all of your plunders by 500 for each Plunder Patrol card in your spell trap zone, which means that the more equips that you have, the stronger all of your monsters become, all of them, which is very nice. This is a very, very good card. As for the rest of the cards, we are playing 1 Effective Veiler, triple Maxi, triple Ash Blossom, 1 Ghost Bell. Honestly, this should all, we should be playing the triple Infib instead, and additional copies of Triple Tack, but I don't have those, so we're playing this. Just lots of non-engine, basically. We have the 1 Terraforming to search out the Shipyard. We're playing the the Double Pot of Desires and a triple Tactics. We are playing a double Called By and a Cross Out, and then triple evenly matched, and double imperm. And the last card that we are playing is double booty. Booty is very nice as just like an additional recursion piece. You're able to declare an attribute and then target a face-up monster your opponent controls. It becomes that attribute, and then you can also special summon a Plunder Patrol monster from your graveyard or shuffle it into the deck. So there's that. But more importantly, it allows you to special summon a monster onto your field, like for example a Redbeard, and then have the ability to tag out into a different attribute than your opponent may have. Like for example, you can tag out into Liss, which is very good. Let's talk about the extra deck. We're maxing out on Liss as well as Blackbeard, and then 2 apiece of the Bran, the Yord, and the Moark, and then things like Zeus and Access Code just in case. And then the last card is Almirage. So let's quickly do the explanation of these cards. Liss is able to special summon a Plunder Patrol card from hand or spell trap zone, and then on top of that, you are also able to negate a monster effect by discarding a Plunder card. All of these have the effect where they discard a Plunder card to do something, and then they also, if they are equipped, will do an additional thing. This one, if it's equipped, it will be able to add a Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand. Next up, we have Bran. Bran is able to boost all of your Plunder, or all of your Fiend monsters by 500. Notably, it's Fiends, not just Plunders. And then you can discard a Plunder in order to banish a spell trap your opponent controls, and add a Plunder Patrol card from your, a Plunder Patrol monster from your deck to your hand. This is a quick effect if it's equipped, so it's a quick effect if equipped. Next up, we have Yord. Yord is very good. We already talked about that, so we're going to skip past that. Next up, we have Moark. You discard a Plunder, then target an effect monster your opponent controls, banish it, then you can add a Plunder Patrol spell trap. This is also a quick effect if it's an equipped. And then on top of that, if it has a material, you can detach a material to protect your Plunders from being destroyed by battle or card effect. Honestly, most of the time, it doesn't have material, so that effect rarely comes up. Next up, we have triple Blackbeard. This card is very good, and yeah, just insane. It just requires any 2 Plunder, or any 2 monsters, including a Plunder, and then you can target, you can quick effect target an effect monster your opponent controls, special summon a Plunder Patrol monster from your extra deck with the same attribute as a monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard, and then equip that target to it. And then you get to draw a card, which is nice because then you can potentially draw into a Plunder card. Notably, this one doesn't actually have a discard, but you can target itself and then tag out into any of the other ships, which is very nice. So that's it for the deck. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performs. Alright, so here we are going second. Now, obviously, we want to go first, but we did end up drawing very well here. And we are playing against Tyr, not too surprising. They're going to go and activate Scream and then activate Grief and send the Kaleidoheart? Rhinoheart. Wrong card. They're going to pitch the Scream and then activate the Scream and then activate the other Scream and activate the Rhinoheart as well. They're going to search out Crime, which is interesting, send Havness, and then mill a few more cards, which they didn't, they hit the 2 Mudora, which is nice. And then they're going to fuse into the kit with the 1 card in their hand. They're going to go for the Merly, activate the effect, and go for the Merly effects here, and they are going to mill a whole bunch of cards. They didn't really mill very well, but out comes the Rukalos. So they're probably just ending on Rukalos Elf, so they're going to Rukalos Elf and pass. They didn't even set Crime, which is interesting, so they either don't have a monster in hand, or the monster in hand is something that they want to utilize instead of Crime, which is very interesting, but I get it. Okay, so yeah, we'll see how we go here. We're going to start by activating our shipyard, and they are immediately going to go for Elf here, which is totally fine with me. Sure, you can get your Scream as well as your Merly, that's totally fine. Get your mills. So they're going to go and activate the effect, mill a whole bunch of cards. They're only going to activate the Sheeran here, so do keep that in mind, and then go into the second kit. Kit effect will then activate, and they will send the Havness. Havness will then allow them to go into Dragastapelia, since they don't really have access to a Rhinoheart. I'm going to go for the triple tactics here and just steal their Rukalos so that they can't utilize it to negate my effects. I'm going to activate the effect of the Shipyard in order to pitch my Whitebeard in order to grab up the Bluebeard. This will then special summon out the Redbeard, and we can now special summon out our Bluebeard. They're going to activate the effect of the Dragastapelia to negate our monster effect, which it also changes it to level 1, but that doesn't really matter because we're just going to link it off with their Rukalos in order to go into Blackbeard. So out comes the Blackbeard. We're going to activate the Redbeard in order to equip the Blackbeard. They're going to shuffle it away, which is exactly what I wanted. They only have, they have Mudora and Keldo. So I'm like, okay, I do need to get something out of the graveyard before committing to Golden Hair and the Black Eyes. So I'm going to activate the effect. They're going to chain it because they're like, I don't want that effect to go through. And I'm like, that's totally fine. We now get to normal summon Golden Hair and go into Bran. I'm going to activate the effect in order to draw a card. We draw into Booty, which is fine. But yeah, I'm going to try and tag out here. They go for the Havness. Okay, that kind of makes sense as to why they didn't really have anything. But they mill just a Keldo and a Meta Noise. So there's that. Then they do something really weird, and with the Meta Noise, they target Rukalos and shuffle that back. So that's odd. Don't know why we wouldn't have added... Oh, because they literally have no other target. Hilarious. Anyway, we ended up tagging out for the Moark, and so we're going to Moark, discard the Booty in order to banish the Dragostapelia, and just grab up Booty again, because there's no real point in grabbing up another Shipyard. We're going to draw 2 off of the Spot of Desires that we ended up drawing off of our Blackbeard, and we drew Black Eyes and Redbeard, which is pretty interesting. They're going to go for their Keldo here, and I'm lucky enough to draw a Called By, which is very nice. So we're going to activate our Called By and deal with that. Anyway, we're going to special summon with the Black Eyes here and grab back our Whitebeard. We're then going to utilize our Golden Hair in order to special summon it out in order to go for Yord. Here's the first look at Yord. So Yord is going to add back the Black Eyes and then tag out into our tokens. So we have these 2 tokens here, and then we're going to go for the Bran and banish their back row in order to deal with their board. So yeah. We now have the white or the light tokens, so we're going to link off our Bran as well as our token into the Blackbeard and pass. Kind of on not really much else, but we do have Booty, we have access to Blackbeard, we have the ability to banish one of their monsters, and we have the ability to tag out into Liss, which is very, very nice. Now, notably, they still have access to Elf, so there's that. Here's their access to Elf. They're going to shuffle back a few of our cards, so that doesn't really matter. I really don't care. But out comes Elf. They're going to go Elf for the Merly, and I'm going to activate my effect of the Booty here in order to change the Elf's effect, or attribute, into Light, since they got rid of our token. But that's fine. We can now go into the list here, which we will then utilize. The wrong effect! I misclicked here. I was supposed to negate the fusion summon here, but I ended up not doing that. I instead misclicked and activated the effect to special summon. So I ended up special summoning the Whitebeard here, and we should be fine. So yeah, out comes the Whitebeard. Out comes their Kit. That's totally fine with me. They're going to go Kit and grab Heartbeat. Okay, I guess they're probably wanting to deal with like Shipyard or something like that, so that they can actually walk over my monsters. Out comes the Kit. The Kit's second effect, and I'm like, okay, that's not acceptable. So we're going to banish that there, and they're going to activate the effect in order to deal with the wrong equip. Huh. They also send Crime to the graveyard. This, look, not the greatest of tier players here, but that's fine. Out comes the Rhino Heart. They're going to activate the effect, and then they're going to also chain the crime, so I can't actually negate it, but that's fine. I'll just tag out into a second list so that we actually have the ability to search, because this one is no longer equipped with anything. So out comes their second Rhino Heart, and they're going to mill the Havness, and I'm going to negate the Havness as they activate their effect. But since it did not negate and destroy, I actually don't get a search there. So they're going to go for the Gigantic, and uh-oh, I can't deal with Zeus. Luckily, they've already activated all of these guys' effects, so there's that. I'm just going to go for the Yord here so that I can draw a card, and I draw into quite possibly one of the most helpful cards. And then I draw into the second most helpful card. Fantastic. So we're going to normal summon the Redbeard and then special summon the Bluebeard, and out comes Blackbeard once again. We're going to just equip ourselves here, and then this allows me to bounce it back to hand to go for the Shipyard. So now we can activate the Shipyard effect and pitch a cards to grab Black Eyes. Black Eyes is absolutely advantageous because now we can also grab up our Whitebeard. This then allows me to tag out into the Moark, activate the Moark effect, pitching our Whitebeard, and we actually don't have a target for the Moark. We are out of spells and traps, so we better draw into something useful. But that's fine. We're going to special summon out to the Golden Hair and just go to battle and deal as much damage as we can, and then hope that this Blackbeard is able to do something along with the Called By. So they're going to go to turn and activate their Rhino Heart, and I'm like, no, not happening. We're going to Called By the other Rhino Heart. They are actually out of Shufflers as well. Most of them are banished. I believe 4 of them are banished. We Called By to 1, and then they've utilized 3 of the others. So they have 1 more Shuffler, so there's that. They're going to go to battle, and I'm going to immediately tag out into the Brand. Doesn't matter what we draw because we are too big for them to walk over anything, and at that point, they realize the game is over and concede. Whew, got a little scary there, but hey, we clutched it. Alright, here we are once again going second. Now, notably, we are actually better at going first. It's more advantageous for us now because we do have access to Yord, but I ended up just having 2 good games going second. My opponent is going to be playing Sky Striker, so they're going to go into Kagari. Kagari is then going to grab back their linkage. and then they are going to activate Engage. Woo, Engage. I don't know why they didn't decide to go for Engage first here if they didn't have access to multiple of the spells, but alas. Out comes the Shizuku, and I see the Shizuku, and I'm like, okay, I know what this can end on, and I don't want that. I don't want them to get Widow Anchor if they don't already have it, so I'm just going to negate the Shizuku. And yeah, we'll see what we can do from here. We do have the cross out, so we have access to a negate. And out comes Ash. I'm going to cross out that because I'm more willing to play through a Maxi than I am to have this be negated. So yeah, we're going to get our search of Shipyard. We're going to activate the effect of the Shipyard, and we're going to pitch the Golden Hair in order to search out the Whitebeard. And then I'm just going to normal summon the Whitebeard and special summon our Bluebeard to go into Bran. This will then allow us to special summon out our Redbeard, and then pitch the Redbeard from our hand in order to go into the Golden Hair. We're then going to equip the Redbeard and go into Yord. Yord effect will activate, and they will Ghost Ogre! Oh, frustrating. Wow, interesting card in hand, but that's totally fine. At the very least, we're still adding back that white beard. At this point, we'll just go to battle. They don't really have anything they don't have anything engraved. They don't have a ray or anything like that. So there you go. They go for the linkage here and tag out into the Kaina and just negate the effect. I'm just going to banish their multi-roll so that they don't have the ability to set specifically Engage. I don't want that to be set, but it also allows us access to the Black Eyes. So I'm going to go special summon the Black Eyes and then go into Blackbeard with the Whitebeard and then tag out into the list. And then we draw into triple attack and we get to draw 2 additional cards. And hey, look at that. One of them is Ash Blossom, which is absolutely fantastic against this deck. So I'm feeling pretty good. They're going to start off with the Upstart, then go into Kagari. Kagari is then going to add the Engage, and one of the plights of Plunder is that all of their cards can be ashed, and Ash is just a killer against this deck. So I activate the effect to negate their effect, but because it has attached to its effect the ability to search a card and add it to the hand, they are able to ash it. So that sucks. Not really anything I can do. I will just special summon my Blackbeard. Luckily, I still have access to Ash. Also, by the way, off of that Upstart, they drew Ash, which allowed them to then even get into this position, because of course I would have just negated, they would have been dead, but alas, here we are. Anyway, I'm going to Ash Blossom the Engage, and then out comes Hayate. So they're going to go for the Hayate here and then attack in. I'm going to just tag out into the Bran here as well as into the Yord, and they're going to deal a bunch more damage. They're going to punch or send the Ray, and I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. It's not going to go anywhere. They're going to go into Shizuku, and I'm just going to immediately go for the special summon here because they special summon a monster of the Whitebeard because we are equipped. And then, yeah, they realize that the game is over and concede. I would have been able to go into Morik there as well and banish the Shizuku if I wanted to, or we could have just waited and banished it on the following turn. But either way, that game was over. So yeah, good game. Alright, we're back with the deck, and this probably isn't the perfect build for Plunder. I'm sure that there are better builds. I'm not going to say that this is the definitive way to play, but this is what I have noticed is pretty good. Specifically, I think that Evenly Matched is just one of those cards that happens to do very well right now in the meta. It's good against tier, it's good for just like going second in general, and I don't think things like Kaijus or like the Adventure Engine are as advantageous as just playing additional like non-engine pieces. Like additional hand traps and what have you. Bot of Desires is very nice. I very much so like that. Along with Triple Tactics. Triple Tactics is very good, especially since Ash is such a death sentence. Having the ability to go Triple Tactics in order to draw additional cards or potentially rip a card out of your opponent's hand is very nice. So I'd highly suggest playing this card in particular. We have all of the outs to Ash that we could have, so not like we could do much more there. Maxi doesn't matter nearly as much as Ash does for this deck in particular, so having additional outs to that is very nice. Also, Yord is absolutely crazy. I love this card to death. It's so cool. Yeah, it's also just a card. It's just a card. It's just a land boat. It's just a card. It's awesome. Super fun deck. I thoroughly enjoy this deck. I should play it more often, but I don't. Yeah, it's just super fun. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much so appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.